Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. The Crew MotorFest has diversity. It has a great amount of car brands. It has a whole diverse range of cars, bikes, boats, helicopters, planes. So when it comes to the cars, you would hope they'll have all the great brands. However, they are missing a few brands, some very notable brands. In the last video, we spoke about them. We spoke about them not having Alpine, and they're French. They're French, my friends. They don't have Alpine. They don't have Lexus. You know, they make the best sounding car ever. And they don't have a Hennessy. They don't have Hennessy at all. Some of the world's fastest cars, they don't have Hennessy. So this is part 2. We're going to talk about 3 more car manufacturers. Starting with number 1, Hyundai. Hyundai, however you want to say it, Hyundai. They haven't made anything really notable. So on to number... Nah, I'm joking. Hyundai is a great manufacturer. In all honesty, I think in this last 10-20 years, they have made some excellent vehicles. Hyundai was founded in 1947 as an engineering construction company. That would all change in 1967 when they established the motor company, and their first model would be the Cortina. Yeah, you heard that right. With Ford, they made the Cortina, which is very interesting, but even more interesting, they turned to British Leyland. You couldn't make this up. They turned to British Leyland to help with body design for their very own car. And this car was styled by Giorgio Giugiaro of Ital Design. Yep, they got Giugiaro in to design what would be the Pony, the first South Korean car released. It's interesting, the origins of this vehicle. They got some big wigs to make this vehicle. However, when I think about the Pony, I think of dreary. I remember when I grew up, we had a few ponies on our lane, and they looked awful. They looked god awful, they looked boring, and I always used to look down and see the Sierra Cosworth on the other side of the road and just lose my mind. Hey, that's enough about the Pony. You don't want to kick a dead pony while it's down. You know, like kick a dead horse while it's dead. Don't worry. Despite all this dreariness, they sold in huge numbers. In Canada alone, it was the second biggest selling import car that they were offering. The first being the Beetle. Of course it was the Beetle, but the Pony was second, and it was globally quite popular. They were cheap to run, cheap to maintain, so this was perfect for the buyer. This is the thing. Another Hyundai, the Excel, actually got named 10th best product by Fortune magazine. 10th best product, by the way. Best product, like, it blows my mind. On Top Gear's 2004 awards, the Hyundai Accent actually won Worst Car of the Year, which is sad. Hyundai was looking a little bit dreary, as mentioned. However, they had the Coupe around that time, which looked amazing, sounded amazing. I think it's called the Tribune around the world, but yep, the Coupe was the godsend. This all changed when the N brand was introduced in 2012. This N was actually the sub-brand, which was high-performance cars, engines and technologies. This started out with the WRC. Hyundai has been very successful in WRC, winning the manufacturer's title in 2019 and 2020. But not just that, in 2024, Thierry Neuville clinched the Drivers' Championship, which is the first time in Hyundai's career. Let's talk about the cars though. Let's talk about the cars. The i30 N was introduced in 2016 and they have not looked back since. They've been extremely popular. The i20 N, I think this thing looks cool. The Veloster N, it's an odd little ducky, but it's still really nice. It sounds really nice. The one my wife talks about, the Elantra N, she wants one by the way. It looks nicer. The Iconic 5, I think this looks really nice, the iconic 5N. Of course, you have the WRC cars like the I20 WRC, the I30, and yeah, they just look cool, don't they? There will definitely be an iconic 6N. I can't not see them doing that. The absolutely amazing Hyundai N Vision 74. Look at this thing. This is cyberpunk. This is awesome. I think they need to produce this. This is the big thing that needs to come into the game. Yep, this thing alone. They also have a Hyundai Grandeur Concept EV. That looks very VIP, very old Japan. I love that. But yeah, that's Hyundai. Let's get on to number 2. Subaru. Yep, Subaru. Subaru is not in this game. Like, how? How is Subaru not in this game? They have WRC prowess. They have success. They have iconic drivers like Colin McRae. But of course you can't get him into the game. He died in 2007. But we have a lot of history when it comes to Subaru. Subaru's origins lie in the Fuji Heavy Industries company, which was founded in 1917, but in the 1950s decided to create cars under the Subaru name. Subaru comes from the Japanese word for the Pleiades star cluster, also known as Seven Sisters, naming themselves this as they merged with 5 different companies. Subaru produced their first car, the 1500, in 1954, originally called the P1. I'm glad they didn't call it that because McLaren would be quaking. Also in the 50s, producing the 360. Look how cute this thing is. I remember playing this in Gran Turismo. It's so fun. Subaru is known for their boxer engines and 4-wheel drive. They're also known as being the car that dads can have when they've had kids because they have 4 doors for the most part. Honey, I don't want to drive the Vauxhall Zafira, so I'm going to get a car with 250 or more brake horsepower and it's going to have 4 doors, so it's going to be called a family car. Is that okay with you? Subaru is one of those companies that will offer a performance version of every car they do. Like, they would put their top performance in an SUV, like their Forester. They made a Forester performance vehicle, the STI. Like, that is crazy. Subaru will always be known for its rally prowess. They started out in 1980 in the World Rally Championship. However, it wasn't until 1991 and 1992 where they really come into their own. The first ProDrive produced Subaru Legacy, a well-known driver called Colin McRae and his co-driver Derek Ringer. Colin McRae went on to win the British Rally Championship in 1991 and 1992, which is amazing. In 1993, for one race in Kenya, they also took on the Vivio sedan 4-wheel drive. This thing needs to come to the Crew, please. In 1994, upgrading the kit, they made the Impreza 555, but the next year they went on to win the World Rally Championship, which would be the one and only World Rally Championship win Colin McRae got. However, Subaru won 3 manufacturers titles in 1995, 96 and 97, as well as 3 drive championships, which would be the 1995 Colin McRae, the 2001 win from the late great Richard Burns, and their final win in 2003 with Petter Solberg. Let's talk about the amazing cars. So Subaru has a whole array. We have the Imprezas, we have that incredible P1 Impreza, the 22B, that is an excellent inclusion in the game. We have the Bug Eye, we have the Blob Eye, we have the Orc Eye, and we have the hatchback version. We have a lot of WRX STIs to get into the game for the Impreza, for the Legacies, for the Foresters. We have a great deal of different vehicles from Subaru that we're missing out on. We've got the Brat for goodness sake, that would be excellent. We have their rally cars. We have that Vivio sedan 4-wheel drive one that Colin raced in. we have rally cars, we have raid cars, we have so much. Imagine a Forester raid car. Just saying, I think that'd be awesome. Subaru has a lot to offer. But on to the last one. Number 3, Volvo. Yeah, I'm not joking, Volvo. If Twilight can get them in their movie, we can get them in the Crew MotorFest. No lies. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yes, in the UK they're renowned as being used as police cars, but why would they pick them as a police car? Because they're fast, reliable, and I think they are mean. They look mean and give status. The Swedish brick creator was founded in 1927 with their first vehicle being the OV4. The O with the little umlauts on. Volvo was always innovative and they created the modern 3-point safety belt, but they didn't patent this idea. They wanted to make sure everyone was safe, so they allowed the market to take this idea and put it in their vehicles. They could have made millions, but they chose people's safety. And to that, Volvo, you are legends. Their vehicles weren't just safe, but they made some beautiful cars over the time, one of them being the Volvo Amazon. This thing was produced in 1956 and went until 1970. It looks gorgeous. The swoopy lines, it looks amazing. So what happened? How did they turn into an actual brick? Regarded as the first brick in the range, the Volvo 140 series was introduced in 1966, and it was boxy and it was a very, very simplistic design. However, I think the box, the blockiness, I think they look just really cool, don't you? Safety wise, they were reinforced body structures and they had improved crash protection, so they were incredibly safe. When you think boxy Volvo, you think 700 series. The estates, the sedans, they were the image of Volvo. They were practical, they were large, and they just have a presence. I don't know what it is, but I have a thing for Volvos. Big bricky Volvos do it for me. Don't know why. Produced from 1982 until 1992. They just look awesome. If you're gonna say, yeah, they don't have sport and prowess, well, you're wrong. You're very wrong. They entered the British touring car with an estate car. Yep, they entered the British Touring Car Championship in an estate car, and it's the most iconic looking touring car there ever was. The Volvo 950. So cool. Plus, when you look at rally compilations, everyone is driving the Volvos. They are driving Volvos, and you just think to yourself, why? You usually see the Volvo 242 just hooning it around, just drifting around all the dirt, all the snow. It is just awesome. Plus, the drifting events in Forza, they gave you one. They gave you a Volvo 240 Turbo Evolution to start your drifting career. It's incredible. These are drift monsters. A lot of people use them for drifting and they're great for rally. So why don't we have them in the Crew? They are the perfect car. We have so many things and we have so many different vehicles from Volvo to add to this game. We have the Volvo C30 R design. These look great. They're beautiful as heck. Plus, it has the same engine as the Ford Focus RS. So this is, and I'm gonna die on this hill, I'm happy to die on this hill, the better looking version. This is a better looking version of the Ford Focus RS, and it's safer. You have the S range, you have the R range, you have like the Volvo S60R, you have the Polestars. Well, Polestar is their own thing now, but you had all-wheel drive Volvos with a V6, and if we don't get the Volvo 480, I will cry. This thing is beautiful. The best looking Volvo. It's so funky. But that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. What would you like to see in this game? What manufacturer would you like in this game? I'd love to know. Drop it down in the comments. We would love to hear. Even if it is, I would like a different manufacturer, what car you would want. Feel free to go into the comments. I always love to see it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Goodbye, my friends. It's rainy, so bring out the umbrellas. Bye.